Oh, hi all, and welcome back to the 1 minute farming videos, and the video that you might have all been waiting for, and there it is, all painted. If you recall, recently I've been having a bother painting, getting stuff painted because of weather, and anyway, we had a bit of a break between two recent storms we've had. A bit calmer weather, and so I managed to get some paint put on the bonnet hood of the tractor here. I wouldn't say it's brilliant. Some dust has managed to find its way in here when I was on spraying, but it's done now. So all I need to do now is start putting these last few panels back together. The wheels have been done, painted yellow. They went well until they fell over after I painted them the first time. And so they were painted again, and yeah, they seem to have all gone off nicely. The paint has got a nice hard finish on it. But no, the tractor is now fully painted, so it's a matter of just getting it all put back together, which shouldn't take too long. Front grills are all done, the medallion's done. What else? We got the steering shaft straightened as best we could. If you recall, this shaft has had some damage done to it, and it did have a bit of a bow in it. Well, it was more of a bow. It was a bow that someone had tried to straighten out, hadn't made a very good job, and kinked it again, and it's been a fight really, but it's the best I can do without actually totally replacing it. So it's done. I don't know what else there was to paint really. No, I think it's all there, ready to rock and roll. I've just been away for a week's holiday, so I've come back and I need to get this thing finished. Move on to the next project. For those that were following the Holbrook lathe video series, didn't quite go to plan. There are some videos done of it. I will upload them. They're not as in-depth as I was wanting to make it, but let's put it this way. I shan't be in a hurry to buy an old lathe and to do it up again. It went well, but oh dear me. Some of it was just a nightmare, it really was. But there you go. It was an experiment I tried. I shan't be doing it again. But I have ended up with a reasonably tidy looking lathe. Now, I had a chap comment the other day regarding carburettors. And a guy called William. Hi William, thank you very much for your comments. And he asked me, he commented on the very first video I did of making a new bottom nut, a new extension to the bottom of that carburettor, that very first carburettor, which I made. As you can see, it's made there. And then we, when we eventually got round to putting it all back together, I missed that there was also another hole damaging the stem, and we tried to repair it, but unfortunately this stem, it's had a lot of water sitting in it, and it wouldn't take the heat, and it all just blew in. So I'm afraid that one ended up being junk. I mean, as I've said in the past, the big issue with all these carburettors is if they're stood for any length of time, water gets inside them, sits in the carburetor, in the float ball, and if it's still got the original, well, this one hasn't, but it's still got the original steel nut, what happens is the nut freezes onto that threading, and then because it's such a big nut, we always put a big spanner on and get a bit of weight behind it, and of course what happens is if it's rusted onto the stem, it snaps the stem off or cracks it and ultimately the carburettor comes to be junk or scrap or knackered, as we call it over in the UK. And so what to do? As I say, with this one, initially I thought all I had to do was make a new threaded part, but what I hadn't spotted was it was also, it had actually hadn't broken through, it had rotted out, it had gone rotten in there. And so by going rotten in there, it's very thin in this one. And so when I tried to weld it and re-drill it, it just didn't work. So this one's scrap. It just wants throwing in the scrap bin. It's stripped down, ready to go. There's not a lot more you'd take off that carburettor. I think the bushes aren't too bad. I might try and knock these bushes out that's in here. So the next carburettor I got was this one, and came from a supplier in America, which over the years I've spent quite a bit of money with. I'm quite surprised he sent me such a crap carburettor. Anyway, I thought, right, I'll test this one out, and I don't know if I did a video of it, but I put it onto the BW tractor I have with the wide front, and it would start, but it didn't want to run very well. It would bog down and all sorts. And what it is that this carburettor has come off a tractor in the past that's been run without any air filter. Now I don't know if we can see, but it's all it's all badly wallowed out around the butterfly valve. So obviously dust's been getting drawn in, and it's been acting like a bit like the shot blasting. But you can just see in the bottom there, it's all wallowed. Now the guy was very reluctant. Well, he was actually quite adamant that he wouldn't take it back, which annoyed me really, because you know, it's not a good carburettor. He did suggest that it could be repaired. Well, I don't know how you repair that really. But the problem is with it being drawing air with obviously dust in it, it's eventually worn this, and the fit round here is not good, and so it had you couldn't enrich it enough to compensate for the extra air that was getting into the engine. And so, as I say, though it would start the tractor, that was about as far as you were going to get with it, I'm afraid. It just wouldn't run right. So effectively this one is junk as well. And so the saga continued. Now I found this one. This is a carburettor that's been totally overhauled. I'll be honest, I got it off eBay. But the company that did it guaranteed it for a year, so if it won't work, he takes it back. Now I've not as yet tried it on another tractor, but looking at it, it's not a bad looking carburettor. It certainly hasn't got the wear issues that one has, or the damage that one's always had. So I'm hoping this is going to get us up and running. I was considering buying one of these replacement carburetors that you can get, because these DLTX 34s are starting to become a little bit scarce. They don't come up as regular as they used to, and so there is companies out there making reproductions. I'm guessing the reproductions are probably made in China, and no disrespect to the Chinese population, but you know what I think of Chinese products. And so I sort of put off with it really, and anyway, this one came up, 12-month guarantee. I thought I can't go wrong with that, and the chap seemed quite happy that it would be right. So we've got that carburettor to go. So as you asked me, William, whether it's worth repairing these old carburetors, well, you know what, I think it is. It's worth trying. It's always worth trying, because at the end of the day you've got nothing to lose, and if you repair it well, you've got everything to gain. So by all means, have a go and repair it. I think your problem was similar to this one, had cracked through the stem. So braze it up, re-drill the holes, have a go. You've nothing to lose. Yeah, so with all of them. But with that one in particular, I just couldn't see how I could repair the wear inside here. I did wonder about putting JB Weld in, smoothing it out with sandpaper. My worry after that was if I put JB Weld in, it came off, it would end up in the engine. So that's what I'm worried about. Sorry, someone's just walked in on me there. And so yeah, hopefully with this new one, we're in business. So the plan is to finally get this tractor bolted back together, which will be done over the next few days, hopefully, or next week or so anyway. And hey, we should have it up and running. And get the wheels put back on, get the tyres on, and we'll be there. So yeah, there we go, folks. Hope that's of interest. Thank you very much. Catch up with you soon. Thank you. Bye.